Welcome once more to the Tyrant-Den. Apparently that's how I'm signing on to these. So today I already recorded my main thing that I like to do on Sunday, my Homestar Runner Sunday Spectaculars. Those are my passion. That's what I'm interested in. Those are the backbone of my channel, my Homestar Runner, and mostly my strong bad email reactions. But you're not going to want to watch those. You don't care about the glorious history of Flash animation and how that built the video streaming services which led to YouTube that we're experiencing right now, and eventually developed into the TikTok that you're actually going to spend most of your day watching. No. If you want to watch me react to a guy have opinions on a game nobody cares existed, except for him because it's vaguely similar to Five Nights at Freddy's. Here we go.
Hey there, friend! Welcome back to the neighborhood. Today we're going on an adventure. But first, we'll need supplies. Let's go to...
Okay, is this something about how dead people, our skin are used to make basketballs and then their meat sold to us and sheep?
the store. Can you click on the equipment store? That's right, we need to go to the sporting goods store. Today, we're going on a hunting adventure, so we're gonna need to protect ourselves. What weapon should we bring?
Are we hunting humans? A flesh-eating sheep?
I think we'll need something a bit bigger than that. That's better. Look at that, we're ready to hunt. Where should we
I appreciate
hide?
the effort he's putting into these. I sounded all salty, but I appreciate
Two
it.
crabs.
This took time and effort, or
We can't hide back there.
maybe...
I'm waiting
ChatGPT.
for you in your closet. Sweet dreams.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory,
Good
the show
luck.
that regrets the things it had to do to make this video. Hello, Internet!
wanna see
Welcome to Game Theory, the show that regrets the things it had to do to make this.
No toy robots were harmed in making this video. Based on the editing of it. You seem too happy about that.
Video.
Tell me the lore and I won't.
Anyone else getting Candy Cadet flashbacks?
Oh no!
Give me another chance.
No!
Please do not forget me.
Never forget you, Blabbot!
Your sacrifice shall not be in vain, because today we're gonna figure out what's going on with the internet's
Oh, I
own
enjoy
version
this.
of Dora the Explorer, Amanda the Adventurer. You might remember last year when we theorized about this little game. It was developed as part of
I
a
do
game
not.
jam, and as a
I'm
result
sure I
was
watched it, but I do
simple
not
in its
remember it.
approach. You put different VHS tapes into VCRs, all acronyms that I'm sure you Zoomers understand. And we answered questions posed by the lead character Amanda. By feeding her the wrong answers, Amanda would get angrier and more chaotic, eventually losing control and becoming a monster. The internet fell in love with this thing, and since then, it has gone through a major glow up. Gone is the tiny living room, gone is being stuck staring at a TV screen, and gone are all the demonic drawings on the wall.
I wonder if we like step further back.
I'm genuinely happy for them.
Whoa! Oh, this is so different. Oh, they went hard on this new update. This is great.
Instead, the full-length version of the game has us in an
I acted saucy and everything. I do think there's so much analog horror, but I am genuinely happy for this people. A lot of really great creativity and efforts going here, and I like that.
attic full of clever puzzles and old memorabilia that has a weird habit of appearing behind us when we finish
Man, I
a
love
tape.
that.
Whoa, hey, there's a cake.
But the best thing to come out as part of the full-length version of the game, lore! Not only are there a bunch more tapes
Gee, I wonder what his favorite Star Trek character is.
to watch through, there are secret tapes and multiple endings to find, and all of them paint a fascinating new story here. So, was my old theory right, or is there more hiding
that
beneath the
fascinating.
surface? Insert the tape,
you remind me
press
what your old
play, and
theory
adjust
was?
your tracking, my friends. It's time to begin. In this new update, we play as Riley, and that's about all we get to know about that character. Well, that and the fact that they just inherited this house that we're standing in from their deceased aunt, Kate. However,
Look,
Kate
until I'm given reason to believe otherwise, I am going to assume... Isn't Riley the name of the girl from Inside Out? I'm going to assume that we're playing the girl from Inside Out.
warns us that if we
Still so much I have to do before I'm gone. This letter serves two purposes: to say goodbye and to bequeath to you my house in Kinsdale. This next part may be a mistake, and God's forgive me if it is. When you settle in and there's something in the attic I need to pass on to you, look for a tape, but know that once you watch it, there's no turning back. Stay safe, my dear. With you all... Okay, see, this actually raises all kinds of questions. I mean, it sounds like this would be objectively safer to leave the tape alone in the attic, but it also like you need. Okay, I'm all kinds of curious about Aunt Kate now. You got me
choose to investigate the
dang it.
attic and the tapes that lay within, there's no going back. Alongside this note's a conspiracy board full of post-its and newspaper clippings, which means that Kate and I, you could ship it. The main focus
Why bring in the editor face? You could bring in his wife's face.
of the board at the beginning of the game is a letter from a woman.
Dear Ms. Park, I know it's Joanne Cook. I have to. Dear Miss Park, I know it's been a long time since you've seen me. I swear, the library was sometimes the only place I felt safe. I'll always be grateful to you for that, for being someone I knew I could trust. I need that again, to trust. I would actually take, like, on one hand, it makes sense to make, like, a spooky library game. At the other hand, I'd be weirdly offended by making a spooky public library. Like an old private library, make that scary as heck, because that was owned by, like, some crazy rich guy. Like, the public city municipal library, though, I want that to stay safe. Like, you can have creepy things in there, but they're not going to be any kind of dangerous until you leave the library and make them dangerous. Heck, there's an idea for a theme right there. But a private library that's pretending to be a public library, but actually charges a bunch of money and is owned by Nyarlathotep. Love it. Anyway, back to this thing that actually exists by somebody who does have enough ability to sit and concentrate on something long enough to edit something maybe and make an actual game. 2 years ago, my brother Jordan disappeared. Just poof, gone. My parents were never the same. And now they're gone too. They didn't get over the grief. It broke their hearts and eventually it killed them. The police figured someone snatched Jordan off the street. That some crazy guy lured him away. A freak occurrence. You know? You see, that actually gets more suspicious because, like, if the police are doing their jobs, they'd be interrogating the whole family, because if somebody disappears, usually it's someone you know, and usually it's a family member. I mean, it can be some random stranger, and that's the scariest thing, there's nothing to do about that, but more often than not, it's not. It's somebody who knows them. A regular old suburban tragedy, but I know there's something more to it, and I know you know it too. I thought I was alone. Nobody believed me when I tried to bring the kind of research you've done, do I? He used to watch that show, you know. It was really sweet at first. I remember that you even used to tell families with younger kids to watch it. It was, I don't know, wholesome, I guess. And then it just got weird. I'd find Jordan standing in front of the TV like he was in a trance. And then it was like that little girl was talking to him. She said some really weird stuff. No, I want to make up some weird stuff that she could have said. That's, like, not what she means. But I'm hungry right now, so my improv ain't great. I know most of the people around here don't believe in the kind of work you do. Not at the library. The other kind of work. They just don't want to face the truth that something really evil is. But wait, okay, so she is both accusing Aunt Kate of showing her kids evil videos. And then she's also turning to her for help. Like, again, I'm getting weird things here by Aunt Kate. Can we meet and talk? I don't want to write anymore here. I feel like someone is watching me. Sincerely, Joanne Cook.
Named Joanne talking about her missing younger brother. The letter says that he used to watch the Amanda the Adventurer show a bunch as a kid, but would end up in a trance-like state. Eventually, he would disappear without a trace. Joanne then asks Kate to investigate, which seems like an odd request for your local librarian. Then again, if you look around the corkboard, you could start to see why Kate may have been the one picked for the job. We see that she was looking into the kids' school records, something a librarian might have access to. We also see a note that mentions dynakinesis, which is the supernatural ability to create and manipulate energy. She says that you would see sigils if such a transfer occurred, and right next to this note is a torn piece of paper with a bunch of sigils on them. These aren't just any symbols either, these are alchemical symbols that refer to specific elements. Back in the day, alchemists focused on the transmutation of base metals like lead into noble metals like gold. Clearly, Aunt Kate ain't your average librarian. Too bad she's gone now, and it's up to us to figure out what's going on with this missing kid. Or should I say kids? Because it becomes very quickly apparent that this is not an isolated incident. The tape in the neighborhood shows outlines of kids on both sides of the street. Police chalk outlines that are usually reserved for dead people lying on the pavement. If you manage to find the corrupted version of this exact tape, Amanda's sheep companion Wooly asks if the friends can come back to the neighborhood. Amanda, though, she seems unfazed. Now, all of this alone doesn't prove that Amanda is somehow making a bunch of kids go missing, but I would tell you to pay close attention to the ending credits of that VHS tape. After most of the tapes that we play through, we're met with a credit sequence and ending sting for the company that made the show, Hamlin Entertainment. This is the production company that makes the Amanda the Adventurer show, but their name and their mouse logo immediately reminded me of something.
Follow us to fun. So it's like a Pied Piper situation. Oh, Hamlin! Hamlin! And it's a mouse!
Yes?
If you, like Ash, don't know what's going on, this whole thing's one big reference to the story of the Pied Piper. Basically, this fairy tale is the story of the town of Hamlin. See, there's the name right there. It's overrun by rats.
I watched the John Solo thing on the Origins of Hamlin, and I still don't remember what it was. That was a long time ago, though.
And there's your logo. And so the town hires the Pied Piper to play his magic pipe to get rid of those rats. And he does exactly that. He plays a song that lures all the rats to him, where he then leads them down to the local river to drown themselves. However, when the town of Hamlin doesn't pay him for his services, he once again uses his pipe. But this time he plays a song that leads all the children out of town. He marches them all over to a local cave where they're never seen again. This story seems to match the idea that the neighborhood is now missing all of Wooly's friends. Amanda is essentially our Pied Piper, and we actually see this firsthand through one of the game's secret tapes that you can unlock. Instead of our usual CGI Amanda and Wooly adventure, we actually get ourselves a home videotape of a girl named Lauren on her birthday. She's sitting there glaring at the TV, transfixed, much like we heard about in that note from Joanne at the beginning of the game. Her parents are trying to get her attention, telling her that they have her favorite ice cream ready, mint chocolate chip, which, whose favorite flavor is mint chocolate chip? I mean,
What? Dude, mint chocolate chip is an optimal flavor. Come on, man. It's like one of the objectively best ones. Especially if you're getting like the proper green, the green ones, not like the white ones that are kind of minty. You gotta get a green mint chocolate chip, or it ain't the real stuff. I mean, come on. I mean, you get the chocolate shaved up just right, so you got the perfect texture in there, and then you got the extra mint activating your tongue. It's one of the perfect flavors. The perfect. It's like, it is the ice cream equivalent of pepperoni. Pepperoni pizza. Okay, dude.
It's good, don't get me wrong, but favorite flavor? Flavor preferences aside, the parents go back up to try and convince Lauren to come down the stairs, but suddenly, she's gone, with the front door of the house left wide open. As they run out of the house to look for her, the last thing that we hear is Amanda from the TV saying, "I love mint chocolate chip." Somehow, Amanda is able to listen through the TV, and she's somehow lured Lauren, who's literally walked out the door and disappeared, just like the children of Hamlin. As you watch more of these secret tapes, we actually get
Follow your vibe. Busy Hard Seltzer. Flavor for every vibe.
I don't get the hard seltzer.
Actually get to see a little bit more insight into Hamlin Entertainment and the history of the show. In one of the tapes, we actually meet the creator of the series, Sam Colton, and we hear about how he started the show as a small live-action production after being inspired by his adopted daughter, Rebecca.
Did you even imagine that would be such a big sensation?
Honestly, Sadie, no. It was a total surprise. I mean, it's scrap.
Okay, this is a good performance. They're immediately getting that proper Nick Jr. feel from this guy. Helped by the fact that this shirt feels like a blatant call out of Steve from Blue's Clues.
Crappy at best. You know how it is when you have a big idea and a little budget. But really, it's all Rebecca. As soon as I met my beautiful daughter, the inspiration was there. You know, she was so young when I adopted her. And despite what she's gone through, she's always seen the world with such kindness and joy.
You actually find a newspaper clipping
Matching up with Sam. Sam Colton was expecting to be a father to a town icon, but last summer it became clear that his public access series Amanda the Adventurer and its title character was something very special. For this self-professed struggling writer, it all started with his adopted daughter and a new outlook on life. Recently I caught up with Sam over a stack of the Sunflower Diner's famous strawberry banana pancakes. We chatted about the value of imagination, everyday adventures, and what the future may have in store for Amanda. Lacey, Sam, not a day goes by when my kiddos aren't talking about Amanda and her adventures. Do you even dream that this little show would be a big hit? Sam, little is right, isn't it? But I think there's something elegant in simplicity. We may not have the budget for a big production, but I truly believe that there is a soul that transcends that. I'm humbled by the way the town has really embraced my baby. I really am. Lacey, so much of your show is about following your imagination. What inspired you to produce a show that isn't focused? Well, probably the fact that every other show on Nick Jr. was about that. I mean, he's got a little bit of that feel from LeVar Burton, but he really makes it for his own.
On the conspiracy board in the attic during the time puzzle, which has an interview with Sam, where he says this, quote, "We may not have the budget for a big production, but I truly believe there is a soul that transcends that." Woo! Keyword alert. Keyword alert. Anytime an indie horror game mentions the word soul, you know that things are gonna end badly. And sadly, my suspicions were correct here. In the VHS tape, Oh No Accidents, there's a flash frame that reveals a credit for a chief neurosurgical expert, which at first glance would make you go, why does a kid's show need that? But Amanda eventually answers that exact question for us in the tape, Everything Rots.
Sometimes I feel myself rotting, but it feels far away.
If she can feel her own body rotting far away, that means that Amanda has a physical body outside of the show. And who else is that gonna be but the girl that played Amanda in the original live-action production, Rebecca. I suspect that this chief neurosurgical expert has figured out a way to put her mind, her consciousness into the series, literally becoming the soul of the show. She still does have some sort of link to her body, able to feel it rotting, but clearly that's not supposed to exist, as the tape distorts anytime she thinks about it. There is good news though. While her body may be rotting, clearly there's still a chance to save her. In the final tape, we see Amanda playing alone on a couch, drawing with crayons and asking if we can share secrets. If we say yes, the TV audio effects disappear, and clear as day, she tells us,
I'm out there. Somewhere.
Rebecca is alive. Sure, her body might slowly be atrophying and her mind might be separated from her body, but there is still time to save her. That said, we're gonna have to face the evil that's up ahead if we hope to do it. What is that evil? Ask yourself this. Why would Sam, Rebecca's seemingly loving adopted father, do this to her? Was it just to make the show more popular? Did he need to gather more children to him like the Pied Piper? I know we talk a lot about awful father figures across the various series that we cover on the show, but I was hoping
That's the Ted Lasso Season 2 especially way.
Maybe, just maybe this one would be a little bit different. Thankfully, it is. The indie horror gods heard my plea with this one because it turns out that Sam isn't the one at fault here. He is no
those delicious homemade cookies.
Longer the one steering the ship. Yes, Amanda the Adventurer was his live-action production, but he sold it to Hamlin Entertainment. Hamlin is a third party that actually bought out the rights to the show and turned it into an animated adventure.
Last year, Hamlin Entertainment purchased rights to the live-action program starring Colton's daughter Rebecca. As budget and production value increased, Hamlin reimagined the show as an animated series, planning to syndicate the program nationally.
Well, this sounded like everything that Sam wanted on paper. In practice, he started to feel more and more uncomfortable with how the production was being run. In the green tape, we actually listened.
I'm making the prediction. They wanted her to stay young so she could keep playing the character.
Into a recording session. There, we hear Rebecca saying a handful of what seem like random phrases.
Rebecca, that was great. Let's move on to the next one.
Pie man, pie man, pie man, pie lamb, pie.
What is this? What is she reading? Just
Paimon, a suddenly very popular demon that we rediscovered from Key of Solomon. Seriously, we see Paimon shows. Paimon is supposed to be like the mom over in Dead End, and then obviously he's the father of Stolas and everything. And then his name is almost exactly the same as Piedmon, who remains my personal favorite villain from Digimon. Loved him in Ghost
Just
Game.
a few simple words. This script is specifically tuned to train the technology's dynamic voice reaction. The what? I want this to stop. Sam, why don't you take a walk for a few minutes?
The person directing claims that this is to train the technology's dynamic voice reactions, which is plausible, I suppose, given the rise in AI voices that we see all over the internet. However, this series, Amanda the Adventurer, is set in the early 2000s. Technology was not that advanced back then, so Sam is right to be suspicious of it all. And then Rebecca says this.
No, I don't want to do that.
Rebecca, what's wrong? Who are you talking to?
The man in the headphones.
This ends the session, but listen again to those phrases that Rebecca was saying earlier.
Bye-yo, 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 pie-man, 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 pie-lamb.
At first, they seem to be phrases that could be used in pretty much any episode. Ba-lamb for when they go to the farm, pie-man for when...
The estimated hold time is 96 minutes.
Headlight. Sudden gay sensation.
For when they go to a bakery or bake some pies like they do in the first VHS tape. So what's the big deal here? Well, what if I told you that these phrases actually have a secondary meaning? All three of them, Ba-Yel, Pie-Man, and Ba-Lam, are phonetic ways of pronouncing the names Ba-Yel, Paimon, and Balam. Three king demons from the Ars Goetia. Chanting the names of demons has always been part of summoning.
Okay, somebody has clearly not been watching Hell of a Boss. And you know we prefer it to be pronounced the Ars Goetia.
Ritual, especially when you're talking about these sorts of things in pop culture contexts, and that's exactly what Hamlin's trying to do here. Why else would there be a containment specialist that's listed in the credits of the initial Neighborhood video? After chanting the words, Rebecca hears the voice of a man in her headphones, one of these demon kings, all of whom are described as having a hoarse voice. While all of these demons are certainly different, they do share a couple of similarities.
I don't know, it's... Like, this one is obviously just terrifying, okay? I mean, the heads aren't that bad, this one's even very silly, but then you put the claw legs up on the bottom like that, I can see that showing up in a horror game already. And these guys are just naked fish dudes riding animals. That's just fun. That's a good day at the parade right there.
They all control large legions of lesser demons. They're all able to inform or give the gift of knowledge. But most importantly, they all require hosts to manifest. And usually this involves children, either as sacrifices or to physically be the host. That is what Hamlin are doing here. They needed Rebecca and the other children to become hosts and sacrifices in order to summon these demon kings and gain their knowledge and power. These children would be led to the slaughter, which is why no matter what location you pick, it always leads you back to the butcher. The eyes on those meat products aren't just a cute aesthetic choice, my friends. Those are past victims, past children that have been led to the chopping block. However, there was one thing that stood in Hamlin's way: Rebecca's father, Sam. I would suspect after this sort of incident, he wanted to pull Rebecca from the show, maybe even find a way to pull the rights entirely. And so, as most of these evil companies tend to do, they made him disappear.
It's been 3 weeks since local television producer Sam Colton was reported missing, and authorities still have no leads.
Sam was so happy with the idea that his show could be a bigger success that, much like the fox in the video Everything Rots, he wasn't killed by a knife, he wasn't killed by a gun, he was instead lured in by Hamlin using sweet berries. The sweet lies that would convince him that they would turn his show into something bigger. But instead, it was all a big trap. A trap created by the very people that swore to help him. And then, with Sam out of the picture, Rebecca is all alone. They can get her to sign along the dotted line and do whatever they want with her, trapping her in the Hamlin facility, just like the lonely...
I mean, admittedly, if you're under the age of 18, you can retract a contract at any time, but she's not gonna know that.
...kitten that Amanda so desperately asks us to help.
This kitten is alone. There is no one to help her. Will you help the lonely kitten? Won't you help the lonely kitten? Won't Won't you help the lovely kitten? Won't you help the lovely kitten?
However, unlike silly Mr. Fox, I don't think that this was the end for Sam. I suspect that he's still around, keeping a close eye on things and trying to take him down from the inside. Ladies and gentlemen,
Perhaps
I believe that
literally.
Sam is the real identity of Wooly. Wooly spends the entirety of the game trying to keep Amanda on track. When she begins to discuss topics that aren't appropriate for a kid's show, like death or rotting, Wooly is very quick to interject. He tries to get Amanda back on the good and wholesome path.
Men can die if they don't get enough light or water, or if they get a disease.
Let's go back to our nice picnic. Amanda, nothing is rotten here.
I'm not quite convinced that he's the sheep, because I think that the dad would want her to realize what's going on to help break the system and get out. It seems more likely the sheep would be the one trying to keep her on track and being a good kids show. Especially because, you know, sheep isn't too far removed from the goat sort of imagery that you saw in a lot of those demon lords.
What do you think? Do you think that everything rots?
Especially
Of
Follow.
course not, Amanda.
I'm not asking you.
Eh.
Answer my question.
You don't have to answer that.
This strikes me not as the actions of a fellow child, but rather of a parent. We hear a story during one of the secret tapes about how after Sam's disappearance, the show begins to change, starts to talk about inappropriate subjects. This is not the show that Sam built, and he can see that. Wooly doesn't just play the killjoy either. He's also the one that tries to help Amanda by keeping her calm. When Amanda loses control, the monster comes out, and Wooly knows it. So when she starts to forget things or remember the bad stuff that's happened because of her, he desperately tries to make her happy.
I think Amanda is confused. Shh, here's a secret. It's my birthday. Maybe we can help her out.
Sounds to me like the actions of a concerned father. He knows what Amanda is and what'll happen if the monster's let loose, so he steers Amanda and the player towards positive and happy subjects in order to keep that beast at bay. But the monster and Hamlin are fighting back. In their visit to the farm, Wooly is constantly being silenced. Amanda tells him that sheep don't talk, and as we go through, he begins to baa uncontrollably until he becomes another mindless sheep like all the rest, finally falling in line with Hamlin's plan. It's actually pretty diabolical. You're wanting to turn Rebecca into Amanda, so why not test out that mind transfer ability on someone you don't mind accidentally killing if it goes wrong? Notice that it's only...
So you're saying you could travel back in time?
I could save my parents. If you change the past, you change the future.
You are.
We don't like this.
Batman.
We don't like the guy playing the Flash. Don't watch this.
Clasificada PG-13.
They didn't want me to say bad things about it. They should have thrown it up there. And it's a review. I don't think
Whenever
it's a commercial. It went by
It's
way
only
too
once
fast.
Wooly becomes a
You have
true
no idea
sheep
what's
that we
going
see
on
Amanda
there.
asking to help the poor and lonely kitten, the kitten that represents her. Now that Sam is gone, she's truly alone, asking for someone, anyone to help her.
It looks like this kitten is in big
Or is it now that the sheep is gone, she's free to beg for help? See, I'm just not buying in to the lamb being Sam. Much as I appreciate the rhyme. But Sam also rhymes with Balaam, and he's not... I really don't think he's Balaam.
trouble. It might die before anyone can help it.
But hey, well, Riley really did luck out just being gifted a house by their aunt. Sadly, we're not all that lucky. We just can't wait around for a property with an attic this large to fall into our laps. Fortunately, you can start saving up today to buy the house of your dreams thanks to today's sponsor, SoFi. Everything costs more these days. Video games, food, that haunted VHS tape of an old nostalgic show. So it's important to get your money management right, and that is where SoFi comes in to help. They're an all-in-one finance app that can help you with just about anything. Banking, loans, investments, anything you'd be able to do with a traditional bank. Steph and I are currently in the process of planning all the trips that we want to take this summer. See our friends out in LA taking...
Okay, let's see. Did they get back to... I think we've heard everything they want to. His big theory is that Sam is the dad, but he doesn't really have any evidence to back that up. That convinces me of that. It's really more. This is really more just a long commercial for the update of the game, which I'm all for because it looks like they put a lot of effort into it. It looks really good. If you want me to play that game, send me money. If you don't have a way to send me money, that sounds like your problem. Like, comment, subscribe.